Howdy, y'all. Back on the grind again. Heading from Portland to Bend again. Let me set the cruise control. We can start talking here. And interesting question. Actually, it's less and less interesting the more I hear it. So I had a contractor call me up and say they had just got walked out of a meeting with an adjuster, and the adjuster was saying, "Oh, we don't pay for that." Talking about several things in his estimate. We don't pay for that, and he is frustrated, understandably. And his homeowner is going, I don't, that's what my adjuster says. My adjuster says, so I'm going to go with that. So what do you say? What's a retort when you have an adjuster say, we don't pay for that? Well, one retort is to say, well, what do you pay for? Yeah, I think it's more aggressive and more confrontational than it really needs to be. But what you really need to understand is the psychology behind that answer. The psychology behind that answer is the adjuster has an understanding of what their company's policy may or may not be. And you also need to understand that their company adjuster policies have nothing to do with the actual insurance policy that you're dealing with here. And contractors can get themselves in trouble trying to act like adjusters, so I'm not suggesting that you try to act like an adjuster. What I'm suggesting is that you understand that your estimate is your good faith effort to put a number, to put a value on the repairs on this loss. What you decide as a licensed contractor and the current expert in the situation on what it takes to repair things is your business. And you may choose to use Xactimate, and if you do, I hope you choose to let claims delegates write it for you. But even if you don't, the assumption that just because you're using Xactimate, you have to play by some sort of unwritten rules that changes, by the way, from carrier to carrier, from adjuster to adjuster within the same carrier, is incorrect. You are not obligated to play by their rules. And even if you're on a program, get this. All right, so I was working with a contractor who was on the Lions Bridge, and that is the worst TPA I've had to work with in quite some time. Mainly because they have an understanding of what their rules are that goes beyond what their rules are. Every TPA has a booklet, right? These are all Crawford Connection. It has this 3-ring binder of rules, of things, of how to estimate things. Sure, and I can follow rules. What I can't follow is unwritten rules. All right, I've got a list of emails and notes that I took out of files that I worked when I was working with this contractor in Lions Bridge. And an adjuster would say, well, that's included. That's let's say the ridge line. It's a common one. Ridge line, ridge vents, or ridge caps. Oh, those are included in your waste. Well, all right. I said, oh, okay, let me check into that. I looked in Xactimate. There's no description that says the ridge cap is included in your waste of the rest of your roofing materials. No. So I went to their rules about roofing, and I'm sure they had some rules about roofing, but none of them mentioned that ridge cap was included in the waste material of the rest of your roof, because it's not. The problem is the adjusters and the carriers understand that if they say, well, we don't cover that, or that's included, 90% of the people are just going to say, okay. And guess what? They just saved a couple percent. So what do you say? I don't know if you can say anything back and maintain professionalism, because in my opinion you can't fix stupid, and you really can't argue with stupid. So your job is to give your client the best tools that you can for them to help themselves with their claim. So you put it on your owner and say, hey, your adjuster wants me to do this job for less money than what I am proposing to do this job for. I'm not willing to do that because I'm not willing to compromise my professionality. Is that even a word? I'm not willing to compromise my quality, and I'm definitely not going to compromise on the work that I'm going to do for your house. So here's my number, here's my estimate, as detailed as I could get, in the format that your carrier understands. You deal with it. And what's going to happen? Well, I'd say 60% of your clients are going to walk. They're going to take the adjuster's guidance, and the adjuster's going to call in their pet contractor who is willing to do it for 10% less or 15% less. And that contractor is going to come in, sign a contract with your ex-client because they're not your client anymore. And then what? Guess what's going to happen? They're going to supplement the hell out of the claim, because they're going to get paid. They're just not going to get paid up front. And it's a game. I don't like playing the supplement game. I don't like going into something I know costs that I'm going to incur, that I know how to estimate those costs, but I'm not going to put those costs up front because I want to put them in a supplement, because it's easier to get through the process that way. I think that's a dishonest approach. And I've seen it hundreds of times where the pet contractor gets called in to give a number, and they sign a contract because the homeowner's scared their claim's going to get denied, or they're not going to have an adequate coverage, or all the 5-year warranty, all this bull crap that the adjusters try to push to get their pet contractor in on the job, which is tortious interference in my opinion, but I'm not a lawyer either. And that's how they win. I mean, it's these wins. I've talked about abundance and scarcity, and they have to win. You know, really, we're all losing. We're all losing when the client, the customer, the end user no longer has a choice of who to use for their repairs, because the carrier wants to control things, and the adjusters feel like they have to win these battles and kick honest contractors off of legitimate jobs. So what do you say when they say, we don't cover that? Go ahead and ask them, okay, what do you cover? Or you could ask them, okay, ridge vent, where in the policy does it say that ridge cap? Where in this person's policy does it say ridge cap materials and labor is included in the materials and labor of another item that I've estimated? How enforceable is that? I don't know, you tell me. I'm going to think of another question here to answer here real quick, but that's it for now.